চলো অনুক্ষণ সঙ্গীতে সম্বল রাখো পুণ্য ধন গোপনে অতি যতনে লোভ মোহ আদি পথে দোষগান লোভ মোহ আদি পথে দোষগান পথিকে করে সর্বসমসান পরম যতনে রাখো রে প্রহরী সমদম দুইজনে মন চলো নিজ নিকেতনে সংসার বিদেশে বিদেশীর বেশে ব্রহ্ম কেন অকারণে মন চলো নিজ নিকেতনে মন চলো নিজ নিকেতনে।
Jananam Sukhadam Maranam Karunam Milanam Maduram Smaranam Karunam Kalavashadiha Sakalam Karunam Samayadipate Akilam Karunam. Namaskaram. Namaskaram to all of you, wherever you are, whichever time of the day you are in morning, evening, afternoon, any time of the night, I don't know where you are. Well, as all of you know, particularly in United States and India, and of course in various parts of the world, what people thought they were getting on top of the situation in terms of the virus is definitely out of control. Number of people who are succumbing to this on a daily basis is increasing. As this lasts longer and slowly it is leading from bravado to pragmatism in many governments, among people, among business leaders. Well, we are definitely preparing ourselves for shrinkage of our economies, significant changes in our lifestyles, how we are going to communicate with each other. Almost every aspect of our life has to be looked at in a realistic way. Unless you are such a free human being that you believe you have the freedom to die and also unfortunately take other people's lives with you. If you are not in that kind of destructive freedom, I think everybody is beginning to realize, it's sinking in, that this is a long haul and the consequences are not definitely easy. Nations, economies, livelihoods, if lifestyles go away or deplete, that's not a big problem. But if lives go away, that is a big problem. But that's what is happening right now. In many cities in India, hospitals are being overwhelmed. Similar things are happening in southern part of United States. Something far more severe is happening in South America. It's estimated the Latin American economy by the end of this year could have shrunk by 10%. And first half of 2021, it could go up to 25%. So those who are at the bottom end of the pyramid needs to be taken care of, because for the top end of the society, it is a matter of lifestyle. For the bottom end, it will become a matter of life. So what nations, governments, people focus on right now will decide how much a given society will suffer or how smoothly a given society can go through this, how gracefully can we go through this. Well, I've been saying this from day one, the only real answer is to strengthen your immune system and to maintain social distance, that you are not the spreader. Hopes of magic wand solutions, like some miraculous vaccine will come, slowly is receding. Now they're saying till 2021 or mid-2021 there is not going to be a real-term vaccine. Having said all these things, this is also a time for us to move from an unbridled sense of life to a more conscious sense of life. We've been in the process of launching this Conscious Planet movement, largely focused on ecological concerns. But there is no such thing as conscious anything without conscious human beings. So if we want to create a conscious planet, well, you are not going to go about making the earth or the mountains or the oceans and the rivers conscious. The onus and responsibility of being conscious is upon the human beings. None of the other creatures and none of the other life is in any way harmful to the planet or is in any way in friction with their existence. They all know how to manage themselves. So if you want to upgrade them, in your opinion, probably they're already conscious? No. Their life is contained and curtailed by nature. For all of them, nature has drawn two lines within which they live and die. Somewhere nature trusted our intelligence, or nature overrated itself on its own creation and thought human beings can be left free without lines. So, we've been making a disaster out of it, both in terms of human experience and what's happening ecologically. This is a good time where being conscious is no more a fanciful thing that I'm talking about it is an absolute must. To be conscious when it becomes necessary for your survival, I would say that could be a very good time for humanity. Right now, we are at such a time. Well, I'm sure a whole lot of people will be angry with me because I know there's a lot of social, economic stress upon them. Many tragic stories, people have lost lives, people have lost dear ones. Well, losing somebody who's dear to you is one thing, not able to be there, not even able to see the body is another thing. Well, dozens of bodies have been found in U-Haul trucks in United States because they're not able to handle the load of dead bodies. There are not enough morgues for that many dead. There are not enough undertakers for that many dead. And finding plots to bury them, not able to handle this. Sinking bodies have been found in U-Haul trucks. Similar things are happening everywhere in the world. Handling the living and the dead is becoming a big challenge. So everybody needs to understand, we are the basis right now. We are the housing for the virus. If this behaves responsibly, it will be contained. If this doesn't behave consciously and responsibly, well, before you come up with your magic wand solution of some magical vaccine that can be sprayed in the world and everybody will get it, 0.6 billion people. What is the timeline? Please think about it. Polio vaccine, 2 drops in an infant's mouth, just newborn infants. Well, India has taken over 15 to 18 years to eliminate polio of an incessant campaign. Now the entire population, even if you find a vaccine, how long will it take to administer this? So let us not be unrealistic, it's extremely important that right now, in many ways, you must function at your peak. If anyone wants to function at their peak, or if any machine wants to function at its peak, one important thing is, you must remove all the frictious elements. You must remove all the friction within yourself. Taking away the friction within oneself is vital. Generally, handling all the friction so that a machine functions smoothly is called engineering. We are talking in engineering once again. Well, we've been talking for 40 years. What do you think I've been talking about? Well, you thought if your headache went away, your backache went away, and you function a little better in your business and you think you have achieved something. No. The important thing is, if you sit here, in your physical body, in your chemical self, in your energy body, in your mental body, in your emotional structure, there is no friction. Once there is no friction here, now you will see how to transact with the world. Transactions, not need-based transactions. Transactions that could transform. Transactions that could make individual human beings transcend many things. But when there is friction within you, either in the mind or body or your chemistry or your energy, all your transactions will be need-based. When I say need-based, the need may be, fundamental thing is food, sexuality, economic comforts, various other things, social, other kinds of stuff. Needs and needs and needs. Something wrong with them? I'm not saying anything wrong with anything. There's just that what could be a grand life is a meager life because it's badly engineered. Though the basic platform that's given to us in the form of natural design is fantastic, how we build it, what material we put into this, and how we arrange things within ourselves will determine whether there is friction or not. Today, it is… these things are very amusing to me, but don't take me wrongly, all the medical people, scientific people. It's very amusing for me to see a lot of scientists are talking in terms of inflammatory markers. Well, if something is swollen in you, whether your ego or your body or your brain, believe me, you will suffer. We have always known this. Or with either it's in the cellular level or molecular structure, anything swollen means you will suffer. Because it is a consequence of friction. Well, you may have many names for this, stress, anxiety, this one, too many names. Essentially, there is friction in your physical structure, in your chemical structure, in your energy structure, in your psychological structure, in your emotional structure, there is friction. Anything that has friction is obviously not a good machine, not an optimal machine. Whole lot of engineering has been done to… let's say if we take the movement of our automobiles, from a locomotive which was going… you've seen the steam locomotive, it went chok chok, chok chok, chok chok, we thought it was great. Now it's going electric car. Lot of friction has been taken out. As friction has been taken out, consumption of whatever fuel it was consuming has gone down significantly. And as this happens, the atmosphere is better. So take the same example for yourself. If you are like a steam locomotive, all over it spills, have you seen? Smoke is not only coming up there, steam is spilling out here, heat is going there, water is spilling out somewhere else, all over the place. If you are like that, a steam locomotive, I like them, because I grew up around railway atmospheres, my father working for Indian Railways. I loved the steam locomotives because, there was a certain grandeur to it, but it's a desperate, horrible grandeur, which is burning enormous amount of fuel and creating a big racket and throwing things all over the place. Are you one of them is what you need to check right now. Are you that kind of a machine that you gobble up too many things and you create too much friction and heat and throw things all over the place? If you go next to your steam engine, once in a while it lets out steam. At that time if you're there, it'll blow you away. Are you like this at least once a day? So, it is time that you engineer yourself into that kind of a machine, that it's largely self-sufficient. There is solar energy, there is water, there is air, and of course there is food. Machine should run smoothly on this. The rest of it is… you can play it the way you want. How much, what, one can decide according to their individual inclinations or by choice, not by compulsion. That's the important thing. So creating a conscious planet means just this. First of all, you have removed the friction from this system. Once friction is gone and you're well engineered, now being conscious is natural because this is the nature of a human being. Let us understand what is the difference between being conscious, because the word consciousness is being used in all kinds of terms. Essentially, what you call as body, your physical self is a boundary. In case you're expanding your boundaries in this lockdown, please don't do that. You must keep the integrity of the boundary. What you call your psychological structure is also a boundary, but a little larger boundary than your physical boundary. Your physical boundary is right here, your psychological boundary may be there. The basis of your psychological boundary is the data that you carry. If you know only about your home, it is within that. If you know little more about your city, then it is that much. If you know something more about the world, it's that much. It depends on what kind of data or how much data you carry. Accordingly, psychological boundaries are set. Essentially, it's memory. And this boundary also enhances or manifests itself in the form of emotion. This is my friend, one kind of emotion. That's a stranger, another kind of emotion. This is a person I love, this is a person I hate, different types of emotions. All this by memory and data. So, body is one kind of boundary, what you call as mind is another kind of boundary, your emotional structure is another kind of boundary. What we refer to as consciousness is that which has no memory in it. That means it has no boundary. It has no body and it has no memory. If these two things are absent, it is boundless. If I'm conscious, will I fly all over the universe? No. If you're absolutely conscious, universe will come to you. You don't have to fly all over the universe. It will come to you, it will stay within you. This is the nature of the existence. So essentially, when we talk about creating a conscious planet or a conscious world or a conscious human being, they're not different words, they're all the same terms. What we're talking about is that you are at your optimal level of function as a life. That means you are a human being means your way of being is not determined by your needs. Your way of being is determined by the nature of creation. The nature of creation is such, everything is enmeshed one into the other. You cannot separate one from the other. You thought one is good, one is bad. You thought weeds are bad and you took it away and you thought just your flowering plants. Now you're realizing it doesn't work like that. Because life is enmeshed into each other. You cannot separate it because it has grown like this, from the same source in many different ways. If this is not your experience, that means not that you believe this, not that you think about it, but if this is not your living experience, that means you're not really conscious, maybe you're striving. Well, when you're striving to be one with everything, you may eat more than needed, I mean, because you want to include the world. That's one way. Another is, well, you may be on social media ticking everybody. No, I know the word, I'm using the other word because it's banned in India. So, you think by doing this or something else, you are connecting. Nothing like that. Nothing like that will happen. Or you may think, we are all one, we are all one. You will see when you're tested what will happen. It'll not work like that. Well, emotions make it more realistic in your experience, but still you will see when things don't go the way you want, poof, it'll go. So being conscious is not a constipated attempt by you to be one with the world. It is just that you engineered this. Your inner engineering is so good, no friction anywhere, naturally you're conscious. Naturally you're one with everything. This is not a teaching. The very fact that you're breathing and you know you cannot exist without breathing is enough proof that you're one with everything. So no teaching need to happen. It is just that little engineering needs to happen. How to sit properly, breathe properly, how to keep this well. Very, very important. Otherwise, Everything is problem. If you have to go to work, it's a big problem. If you have to stay at home, it's a big problem. Money, big problem. No money, big problem. Marriage, big problem. No marriage, big problem. Everything problem. The problem is you. Once you are a problem, everything is a problem, of course, because your life is just a reflection of yourself. But if you are smart, intellectually smart, you survive little better than others and you think you're doing great. But the moment you see somebody who's surviving better than you will not feel so great. So the entire world today has been structured from kindergarten school to everything in terms of who is better than who. So once you set this kind of a foundation, the possibility of human beings conscious or conscious planet is out of question. This is what we are trying to reverse in people's experience and understanding, because even in kindergarten, right there, you were thinking how you are better than somebody else because you are first rank, they are second rank. This problem has been built into human beings, unfortunately, from the very beginning. Even within the homes, it may be happening. So, surviving little better than somebody is not a great deal, because being alive is important. Are you more alive than somebody because you ate more expensive food or you wore more expensive clothes? Are you surviving better really? No. Surviving better means, if you sit here, your body is at ease and it's feeling wonderful, you're surviving great. Well, as you are seeing, as affluence grows in the world, more and more human beings have more and more in their lives, they are not surviving better. A massive number of people on this planet are consuming medicines on a daily basis like never before in the history of humanity. And this is the first generation ever who cannot sit down and eat a full meal. They have to think how much will make them sick. This is the first generation ever. Otherwise, human beings sat down to eat means they ate as much as they could and they were fine. So you are not surviving any better because your economies are bigger, or your belly is bigger, or your bank balance is bigger, you're not surviving better. You need to understand this. Surviving better means if you sit here, your body is comfortable, you can eat what you want, you can sleep well, you can get up well and function well, that means you're surviving well. That means a creature in the wild is surviving way better than you. That's what it means. Well, this happened. A dog. Just some time ago, in the languages that we used, if we want to abuse somebody, we used to call him a dog, or worse, for women, they used it in a very derogatory way. Even now in some societies it still exists, but in most societies now, dog has become a very elevated animal because it's the love of their life. No, I'm sorry. It's the love of their solar cycle, 12-year love affair, I mean. Guaranteed love is dog. So it has risen in its stature in a big way. So when I say a dog, don't suddenly think Sadhguru is saying something derogatory. No, I'm talking about the elevated dog. So a dog just loitered into the forest, and a lion, a full-grown male lion, saw this dog biting on some old bones. What some other animal might have eaten, what is left over, he's biting on just the bones. And lion thought, he looks quite tasty. Let me, because I've never tasted an animal like this, let me taste him, and he started coming towards him in a menacing manner. The dog saw the lion is coming and he cannot outrun him, he will be finished. But he's smart, like you. I'm saying you're smart, you're not even appreciating that. He thought up. He knows this is his moment of life and death. If he doesn't behave smartly, he will be dead. So he saw a lion coming closer to him in a menacing way. Then he thought up this idea. He looked at the bones and said, "Ha! I never knew a lion would make such a good meal. This is really tasty and nice." The lion stopped in his tracks. He looked at the bones and thought, "Wow, he's killed a lion and eaten?" The dog made use of this situation and slowly slinked away. A monkey, you know. I'm trying to connect the ancestral relationships. A monkey which was sitting on the tree and watching this whole business, wanted to play the monkey. And it told the lion, "You are a bloody fool." He did not kill a lion and eat. These were just old bones. And he just did this to you and you made a fool of yourself. The lion looked up, big hefty guy, but monkey is more evolved, closer to you. So he said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." Then he said, "You come, you sit on my back, let's go find that fellow and I will eat him." So the monkey sat on the lion's back and boom, they went towards the dog. The dog saw once again the lion is chasing him. Then he sat down like this and said, "Where is that damn monkey? I told him to get me another lion." Many hours ago, where the hell is he? The lion got terrified and ran back, thinking the monkey has double-crossed him. So, if you are smart, you may survive a little better. But if you come to the right description of survival, suppose through this virus period, because of your financial or economic well-being, you're sick in many ways and you're called comorbid. And the virus killed you, but you have a lot of wealth. You call this surviving well? No. You worked hard, you kept your body well, and you survived this period, maybe with meager means. This is survival. I want you to clearly define the word survival in your head, because survival means you live and live strong. That's what it means. Survival does not mean being better than somebody. Survival means life is throbbing you strong within you. So, creating a conscious planet has become far more necessary, and the nature of how the world and human societies are going to play out. What is imminent in the next few months demands that you become either more conscious or go totally compulsive and crazy. It is my wish and my blessing that all of you should become the source of creating a conscious planet. There is no conscious planet without a conscious human being. A conscious human being means the basic platform is not body. The basic platform is not your psychological drama. The basic platform is not your emotional drama. The basic platform is life, which is naturally happening in relation to everything else, connected to everything in its very essence. The life and the source of life which is naturally conscious. That's what it means. That means you are on a proper platform. It is upon life that the body is built, mind is built, emotions are built, social structures are built. So, if you go back to the motherboard, this is consciousness. We need definitely a conscious planet. Please, if there are questions.
This question is from Vineet. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. A Netflix show on the Indian way of matchmaking is trending and drawing criticism for the regressive ways of arranged marriage. Is there any science behind the concept of arranged marriage, and is it still relevant in today's time?
Well, if you do not know this, the success of something is in the result. Luxembourg, which is held as one of the most economically prosperous and free societies, a small little country, divorce rate is 87%. Spain, divorce rate is some 65%. Russia, 51%. United States, 43%. India, 1.5%. You decide what's working. Because marriage is not about how it happened, who arranged it. Your parents arranged it, or a commercial website arranged it, a dating app arranged it, or a local bar arranged it when you were fuzzy, or your confused friends arranged it, or your confused self arranged it. Well, anyway, it's an arrangement. It is best, it is arranged by responsible, sensible people. This idea, arranged marriage means is some kind of a slavery, well, that depends. As there are exploitative people everywhere, sometimes your parents themselves may be exploitative, they may be doing things for their own reasons, their stupid prestige, their wealth, their nonsense, they may be doing it for those reasons. Well, they may be watching the darshan, but somebody just now, in the last couple of days, asked a thing that they want to choose a girl for their boy. One girl is well-educated, pretty, another girl, father, big man. So which should I do? So I asked a simple question, you want to marry the girl or somebody's wealth? You make up your mind, because I don't know what's your priority. It depends what's your priority. If your priority is such that somebody's wealth by marriage becomes yours and that's all that matters to you, fine, I'm not saying it's wrong, that's your choice, that's the kind of life you've chosen. When I married, I did not know her full name. I did not know her father's name. I did not know, in India, I did not know her caste or anything. When I told my father, he said, "What, you don't know the father's name? You don't know who they are, what they are, how will you marry?" I said, I'm marrying only the girl. I'm not planning to marry any of the other things that usually may come with a girl. Just a girl. That's it. Well, everybody thought this is a disaster. Some of my, self-appointed advisors will be there always. Though I never took anybody's advice in my life, there'll always be advisors. They said, you're making the biggest mistake in your life, this is going to be your disaster. I said, whatever happens, whichever way it happens, I knew this much, it's for me either to make it a disaster or a success. Because who you marry, how you marry, which way it was arranged, by who it was arranged, is not important. How responsibly you exist, that's all that is. So this whole debate about is arranged marriage better or meeting in the local bar is better, well, I think when you're not little fussed out, I think your decisions are little better. If a 18, 20-year-old man or woman, young man or young woman want to marry, who will they marry? Their contact is just there. Within those 10 people that they know in their life, one guy or one girl you marry, within 3 months you will know. But in most countries, there is a law, at least 2 years you must suffer. It's like a jail town. If you make a mistake, at least 2 years you must suffer. Then only you can divorce. Most nations have this. Well, many religions have fixed it that divorce is completely wrong, you cannot divorce. But where such religions are practiced, there the divorce rate is highest. So, God's dictates are not able to stop the breakups, law is not able to stop the breakups. You need to understand this. When parents organize, I'm asking you a basic question. Do you believe their judgment may not be the best, but parents have the best interest of yours. But if you have matured beyond them, that's a different thing. You can make your own decisions. But arranged marriage is a wrong terminology. All marriages are arranged. By whom is the only question. I think it's best it's arranged by people who are most concerned about your well-being, who have a larger reach of… because you can't find the best man or the best woman in the world because we don't know where the hell they are. With limited contact that we have, what is the reasonable good thing we can put together? That's all it is. So the very fact that divorce rates are as it is in these different societies that I spoke about, well, the success rate is very clear. When parents are the basis of your organization, it's little better because they will think little long-term. You just like the way she is dressed and you want to get married today. Well, tomorrow morning you will realize you don't want to have anything to do with her. So, because when you're 18, 20, due to various compulsions or peer pressure or something, you may take decisions which will not last a lifetime. Or sometimes you really hit it off with somebody and it may work out, that's another matter. So, arrangements. Everything is an arrangement, please understand this. You may think so many things. It is arranged by your emotion or your greed or your loved ones. It is arranged by somebody, isn't it? Or something. It is an arrangement. How you arrange it? Well, it's your choice. I'm not saying this is the way or that is the way, but whichever way you do it, please conduct it responsibly, joyfully. If they've been saying marriages are made in heaven, but you're cooking hell within you. Marriage is made in heaven. That's why a lot of people want to go there soon, because it's made there, they want to go there and settle it. No, you need to understand, to fulfill your needs, physical, psychological, emotional, social and various other needs, you're coming together. If you always remember, to fulfill my needs, I'm with you, you will conduct this responsibly. Initially you're like that, after some time you think he or she needs you, then you will start acting wantonly, then of course ugliness will start in many different ways. This happened. A young man and a very young woman got engaged. So once not like this, there must be a stone. Once the ring went in, the lady held his hand and said, "You can lean on me to share your pains, your struggles, your whatever sufferings you go through, you can always share with me." The guy said, "Well, I don't have any struggles or pains or problems." As he said, "Well, we are not yet married." So, if you think you're full of pain, struggles, problems and you need somebody to lean on, well, there'll be trouble. You make yourself into a joyful, wonderful human being, then you will see your work also will be wonderful, your home also will be wonderful, your marriage will be wonderful, everything will be wonderful because you are. Without fixing this, you think somebody else is going to fix you, then there's going to be trouble for you and of course an unfortunate consequence for the other person.
This question is from Snehashish. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I am a seeker and I am working on a concept of artificial consciousness.
Whoa.
I have a fundamental question for you. Can consciousness be computer programmed, and can machines have consciousness? I understand, following your videos and books, that objects can be created by certain techniques to form a yantra. Can this process be written in programming language?
This is a many-layered question. In one way, the last part of the question, let me answer that first. Can I consecrate something by writing Java? Well, a whole lot of things happened to me when I was writing a Java. But the Java language or whatever other languages that are there, I'm not conversant with them. Will they allow you to write? See, let's understand this. Consecration and consciousness, let's separate these two. Because consecration is a certain way of investing energy either upon a form or a space or a human being. Investing a certain amount of energy so that it'll function at a certain level. Right now, you can dig the planet and dig out some copper and make a vessel out of it. This is very important. If you want to drink water, this is very important, you need a vessel. I want you to just imagine those times when they had not yet made pots in the world. Earthen pots were not there. Just imagine, you want some water. There is no tumbler, there is no pot, there is no tank. Every time you need water, you have to go to the source of the water, river, pond, lake, whatever. This is why whole civilizations always developed around riverbanks. Every civilization happened only around riverbank because every day, well, if you want to drink water, you go to the river, you want to wash clothes, you go to the river, you want to shit in the morning, you go to the river. Want to wash your animals, you go to the river. Because there were largely no containers. To start with, there was no container at all. Just imagine, you dug out the soil or clay and made a pot out of it, and you could hold water in it by burning it. What a miraculous invention was that. Even now, if you excavate any ancient site, one thing that you will find is pots, or either full or broken or whatever, earthen pots, burnt pots, which were vital technology, I want you to understand. More important than your spacecraft, I want you to understand this. Because if there is no container to hold water or food or anything, just imagine all you have is your two hands. How severe it is. Or we have to break your skull like Shiva, use the skull as a eating plate and water drinking cup, huh? So, earthen pot is a fantastic technology which changed human life dramatically. I'm sure at that time, people would have really thought there is nothing better that anybody can ever invent, an earthen pot. But today we dig the same soil, out of which you make a computer, you make a spacecraft, you traveling somewhere, out of this space, out of this atmosphere. With what? With the same things that you dug out and made a pot. So, the same substance you're investing in with a higher possibility. So this is consecration in a way. Well, that's being done mechanically there, but when you do it energy-wise, when the same substance can function at a higher possibility, now we say it's consecrated because it's invested with a certain amount of energy. Is an electronic board completely just physical? You know it is not. There's a little bit of… it's an energy play which is making things happen. When it works in a specific manner, the way we want, then it becomes a board or a chip or whatever you want to call it. How exactly it works, you don't know, but you know how to use it. Similar is the nature of consecration. We invested a certain energy for a certain purpose, to function in a certain way, so that that same substance can function at a higher level. This is true even with your body. At least in this lockdown period, if you are investing your time in the morning to do your Surya Kriya or Shakti or Namaskara, whatever, asanas, whatever else, you see within a few days or a couple of weeks, you can distinctly see that this same flesh and bone functions at a higher level. In a way, it's consecrating. If you want to look at it just as a definition, in a way you're consecrating the body to function at a higher level. Same solar energy, now you're transforming it into a higher level of function. So consecration is a certain investment of energy, let us say in a certain form, so that that form will function at a higher level. Consciousness is a completely different matter. We've already gone through this when I spoke in the beginning. Everything that you know has a boundary. Body, psychological space, emotional space, energy space, everything has a limited boundary. Consciousness is not bound by anything. It is the ultimate motherboard of the existence. So can I make the machine conscious? It's a ridiculous thing. Even you cannot become conscious, I want you to understand, not in the usual… See, the word conscious being used in so many different ways, it's confusing, but let me tell you, there is consciousness. If you dissolve your physical form, if you dissolve your psychological form, if you dissolve your emotional and energy forms, you have become consciousness. Not that you became conscious in the sense that you possess consciousness. No, you have become consciousness. Like if we bury you, you become soil, you become the earth. Just like that, if we dissolve you, you have become conscious. You can neither generate consciousness within this or in any of your electronic stuff. It's a completely misunderstanding. I know these debates are going everywhere in the world. I've been to various conferences, endlessly they're talking about it. Only thing is, everybody is invested in their idea. An idea means it's a limited possibility. In that, there is no consciousness. You can talk about it as much as you want because everybody is free to use the word. Essentially, when we say consciousness, we are talking about the fundamental. Everything else is a pop-up. The galaxy is a pop-up, solar system is a pop-up, planet is a pop-up, you are a pop-up. When human being has the ability to not just be a pop-up, but become the source. When you become that, in some way you dissolve your identity because your body, your mental structure essentially is because of identity. Just look at it this way. Let's say there are so many incidents and situations that have happened in your life. Only those situations that you identify with, either by liking or disliking it, right now they are a part of you. Those situations that you neither liked nor disliked, somehow they're not a part of you. Just see this. So your psychological framework is constantly being built and expanded by what you like, dislike, essentially you're identifying. So only with this body you're identified. I don't have to go into the dirty details, but what is day after tomorrow's food? You still have not seen it. Unless you are that kind who eats out of your refrigerator, it's already there. That's a terrible way to live, I'm telling you. So if you have not seen day after tomorrow's food, but when day after tomorrow comes and becomes today, that which you have not seen becomes a part of you. But what happened to yesterday's food? Flushed down the toilet, most of it. So, only what you identify with right now, this is you. You are not going to go in search of all the shit that you flushed and say, that's me, that's me, that's me, because it's been you at some point, but you don't identify with it, so it's not you. So you need to understand what is me, what is not me in your experience is a made-up reality that you make it up by identifying with it. This is me, this is mine. Whether it is an object or a person or a thing or a property, including your body and your mind, you only feel it's me when you're identified with it. So if you withdrew your identities, then you dissolve. Not that your body will melt away, it's still sitting here, but because you've withdrawn your identity, it has dissolved from your experience. Now your consciousness, because that is the basis of your existence. Now, can I create consciousness? Can I invest consciousness? This is all rubbish. You can invest energy and make something work better. That's a different matter. Making anything work better, in my you may find this little extreme, even if you create a god, even if you create a deity of the highest possibility, still it's a survival process. You're looking how to survive better Or maybe you want to thrive better. Thriving is also survival. To thrive means you're doing surviving better than others, that's all thriving is. So, even your God, your religion, your whole heaven, heaven means what? You're surviving better than others, though you're dead. Though you die, you survive better than others. That's going to heaven, isn't it? So all this is just survival. This is why continuously from day one when you came to the introductory, I've been talking about if you distance yourself from the instinct of survival, something else will happen to you. Whether you're in an ashram or in a temple or in heaven, you're still trying to survive. When you are not identified with your own survival, why all these brahmacharis are sitting there is, in a way, striving to move away from survival process. If you move away from your survival process, or you can only move away from your survival process when you are no more identified with your physical self, with your psychological self, with your emotional self, with your energy self and your chemical self, you are not identified with these things. That is when you have moved away from your survival process. The moment you move away from your survival process, you are consciousness. There is simply no other way to be. So you think you can do it on a machine? I'm telling you, you cannot even do it on this, it's there. You are on it. But you are right now existing as a pop-up. If you dissolve this bubble, you are consciousness. Not that you become conscious, you are consciousness if you dissolve the bubble. But right now, you are engaged with the bubble so much, and your bubble is prettier than the other bubbles, your bubble is stronger than the other bubbles. In this, it will go on drama, bubble, bubble, bubble. And when two bubbles get together and go, marriage. So it once happened, a young man who wanted to get married came to his father and asked, "Father, what does it cost to get married?" The father, who was in his 50s, said, "My son, I do not know because I'm still paying." Please, wherever you are, particularly if you are in India and United States, how conscious you are, how responsible you are, will determine the nature of the world. Please, let's make it happen. Let's make this happen, a better world. A better world is only with a better human being, there is no other way. And a better human being is a consequence of being a responsible human being.